Hello everyone. In this podcast we're going to go over creating pose-based deformers or corrective blend shapes with the pose editor inside of Maya. So we're going to find that by going into Windows, Animation, and then our Animation. And we're going to open up the shape editor, which is the blend shape editor. And we're also going to open up the pose editor or PSD editor. Okay. So as we see with our character, so what are we trying to accomplish here? With our blend shape, when we come back like this, you can see how I gain this welt up here. Now, when we're doing corrective blend shapes, we're trying to fix for weird abnormalities in the blend shapes. And typically, we're not going to do this just to fix bad weighting. We're going to do this to fix when bulging's happening, when we're trying to do skin folding or muscle bulging and things like that. So in this case, this was something that was left in here when weighting. We have to fix this as it comes up. So in this case, before I can actually move this back and make the shape, we need to actually make a default pose. So in here, it even says select a joint that you want to put the PSD or the pose onto, which is this guy. Now he's in neutral pose, and we're going to say create pose. Okay. Now, typically in our character, in the rabbit character, we don't have a rig on it. We just have the joints. So if you double click on neutral, it'll shift back to its neutral position. In this case, we want to actually put a blend shape when we do this. I'm even going to rotate the foot out, even though that's really not necessary. Okay. So I want that to be fixed. Okay. So now with this done, I'm going to say add pose. Okay. And it brings up our little option right here. And I have this actually done as left_leg back. I wrote this in here because this is my back system onto it. And then eventually I'm going to change my forward onto it. It is going to be on a new deformer because it's a brand new deformer on here. And the rest of this should be okay. And it's bound to the joint. Yes, that's good. So we're going to create the shape like this. And boom. Now, the important thing to note is you notice the blend shape editor is here. It created a whole blend node up here. And it says edit. And this is important. This means that I can edit the model directly because it made a duplicate right on top of it. So now I can use any modeling tools I want. And I'm going to use the Mudbox tools that are inside of Maya. So I'm going to go to Edit Mesh. And then I'm going to go, it's the Mesh Tools. And I'm going to go into the Sculpt Tools and just tear this off. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tweak this out. I'm going to go in and I'm going to use the Relax tool. I'm going to make my brush bigger. Now what relax does, hold down B and make it bigger. Relax actually moves the vertices around based on the topology. However, what I really want to do here is I want to reduce the volume. And shift will actually go to smooth. So smooth is going to reduce the volume on here. I'm just kind of sliding back and forth with shift held down. Again, these tools work a lot better with the Wacom tablet. Right now I'm just using the mouse on here. I'm going to make my brush a little smaller. And hold down shift again. Okay, and I don't want to just deform like crazy over. I just want to fix the areas that are the muscles would change and everything like that. So now I'm going to actually just hold down click and I'm just going to clean up some of the edge loops. And you can see right here it's a little messy on here, so I can go like that. Now relax is a little bit slower on here. You can use the other tool on here. I'm going to hold down shift and I'm going to kind of smooth that out a little bit like that, and then okay, cool. And I'm going to relax the front here and fix some of the topology up here, say like that. And now I'm going to be able to go back and forth between the two. And I'm going to fix that a little bit. Like I said, I'm not trying to go too far into the other leg over here because it's not really moving that much. Maybe I'll just pulse space a little bit and shrink that down a little bit. There we go. Okay, so let's say I'm happy with that. Let me show you what it looked like before. If I click off on the little dot right here, I can see what it looked like before and after. And this is the cool thing about the PSD editor is now when I move my leg around, you see how it's already animated. It looks like I could still tweak that out a little bit more when I come up. So maybe when I come up a little higher, I can tweak it. But you got to think of how much you're going to come up with your foot onto it. We do need one when we come forward, though. We need one when we do this. So I'm going to bring my foot up like this. I'm going to make sure it's lined up with my knee. And I'm going to make another pose deformer. You see how their butt's kind of going farther this way, I'm going to create another pose. Now, you have an option between doing swing, and what we're doing is swinging. We can do twisting, so if you're doing like forearm twisting, and then you could do both on here. Right now, both of these are swings on here. Okay, so now I'm going to fix this, and you see now it went to this one. This one's red. Now, if I wanted to stop editing this, I could click off, or I can click on when I want to edit it. So now it allows me to go in, and I can go back into my relax tool. And I can kind of just relaxing, seems like it's doing a good job here. Again, like I said, smooth, full reduce volume while it smooths. Now I'm kind of going back and forth between smooth and relax. Right now I'm relaxing. I want to kind of reduce that volume, holding down shift. There, and I'm doing relax. Okay, and I can use grab too. If I want to pull some of that back, I can make my brush a little bigger, and I can just okay, now I'm going to go into smooth. Oh, sorry, so I'm going to relax. Kind of always keep on relax so I can go back and forth. And now I'm going to fix the front. That's kind of a smoothing issue here, so I'm going to smooth that. There we go. Maybe I want to pinch that together. I did a little smooth there. I'm just kind of fixing out the areas. I am going to go into pinch here. See if I can pinch those two areas together. Okay, I can go into relax, make my brush smaller. Okay. And again, we can turn that on and off right here to see what the difference was. I don't really like what I did with that right there with the grab. So I'm going to do it a little bit more smooth. Not thrilled with the motion I've done here, but the main thing is I want you to play around with it. Okay, and I can turn the edit off. Ugh, need to work on that profile a little better, but you can see how it goes through there. Yeah, I definitely want to tweak that out more. Let's go back and edit. Make my brush, and the problem is my smooth brush. I'm going to select my geometry. My smooth's a little too small. Okay. Let's say I'm happy with that. I'm not. But either way, you kind of get used to doing your different poses. So I want you to practice making different poses on it. Making one on the other foot. I know there's mirroring tools, but I have a... sometimes they're good and sometimes they're not. So if you're going to do the other one on the other side, I would actually create a whole nother shape where I'd select the joint and just make a new interpreter. So I'm going to make one more on here. I'm just going to move the leg out like this. And that's a pretty easy shape to create. So I'd say pose, and there it is. And then you can go in, you can kind of clean these names up because these names are pretty heinous right now. And you can do like, this is the left leg. You can actually call this left leg. We don't even have to go into back because this is like lots of different shapes in here. So this is left leg back, this is up, this is side, and everything like that. And I'm editing on here so I can go in and I can relax again. Just smoothing down a little bit. Smoothing. Smoothing again. Yeah, you can turn that on and off. And you can see what type of motion you can get once you're done. You know how much, and you could see the animations being triggered back and forth on these. So you could see where you were getting for your shape, and then you come back. You can see how much you can go through. And again, you can turn all these off and see what it looked like before. So that's pretty much it. Create a couple of blend shapes on, on 2 different legs. Get some practice onto it because you're going to need at least to create 2 on your main character for your file on your rabbit character.